I'm making a video today that I never thought I was going to have to make, but here we are. I have taken you guys throughout so much of my life since starting this social media journey. From when I first started to posting like modest outfit inspo videos and hauls, to then me getting married and taking you guys throughout a little bit of that planning and prepping, and then to me taking you guys throughout a little bit of that, like, you know, newly married life, then to me getting pregnant with my first son Zorar, and Allah yarhamu, he did pass away shortly after his birth. So then, you know, dealing with that grief and navigating like such a big loss, I was taking you guys along that journey with me. And then to me getting pregnant with Zaira, and you know, I did hold off on sharing that news for a bit just because I was so scared of, you know, what the outcome was going to be of that pregnancy and if she was going to make it. And then, you know, when she was born and she was a preemie baby, she was born early, you know, going through all of that, and alhamdulillah for everything and the way it all worked out. And then to me getting pregnant with Amar, and alhamdulillah, like, you know, his pregnancy was finally like a, you know, I had like a normal experience after having two very, I guess you could say, traumatic experiences when you really think about them. And, you know, alhamdulillah, like, I am grateful for the way things did happen, and I feel like I've learned a lot about myself over these last few years. Like, I've had a lot of growth. I started this channel when I was around 20 years old. I'm now 26. I've changed a lot as a person, and I think we are all constantly evolving and growing, hopefully for the better, inshallah. I'm becoming a mom of 2 under 2 and navigating motherhood and how that's been for me. And I feel like since becoming a mom, I've changed a lot, or also it could just be because, you know, my frontal lobe has fully developed, as they say, to now, which what I'm trying to tell you guys, and what the whole point of me saying all this is that I am currently going through a divorce. Technically, like, I'm still married, and, you know, having kids and figuring out custody and all these things, like, it's going to take a while, and it's something that is done. Like, there is no going back. Like, this relationship is beyond repair. Like, I have tried everything. I have given this relationship my 100,000%. I'm not sure if this is going to come as a shock to many of you guys, or if some of you guys actually saw this coming, because for the last year I've been sharing that, like, you know, relationships have ups and downs, and, you know, he hasn't really been in my content as much, and I'm pretty sure that was a little obvious looking in. And, you know, the reason that I wasn't even sharing much of my relationship was just because I felt like it was a lie. Like, these last, you know, few years, like, I feel like my eyes are just like really opened up to certain things. And, you know, I don't want to get into like the nitty-gritty details of why we're getting a divorce and what the problem was. You know, if I'm being a little vague, that's why, and I hope you guys can understand that, and I get it. Like, I am a very nosy person myself. I want to know, like, you know, I've let you guys in on my life and part of my marriage, right? But with what I've let you guys in on is just like the good moments, and, you know, what you guys saw was like real, and, you know, there are good moments in every relationship. And that's why it worked as long as it worked. We were married for almost 5 years, but now it just came to a point, and I think it's also just me getting older and evolving as a person, where I've come to terms with a lot of things that were going on in this relationship that were not okay. No marriage should be going through what our marriage was going through. Like, Islamically, what was going on was very wrong, and, you know, I really did try to make it work. There were things that, you know, I know a lot of people would not forgive and try to move on from, but, you know, I was trying for the kids. And then something I came across which made me realize the decision that I'm making is the right decision is, nowhere in Islam does it tell you to stay in a marriage for the kids. Because for the longest time, I was trying so hard and giving it my all to make it work for that reason. The whole purpose of a marriage is so that you have peace, you have that mental stability, and my marriage was not giving me that for a while. Honestly, guess who woke up a bit earlier from his nap, so he'll be joining us for the rest of this video. I don't even remember where I left off. You know, I think I was, and sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I think I was talking about how, you know, I've let you guys in to so much of my life and through so much of my marriage, and you guys have seen little clips of us together and all these things. And so I know it might be confusing, it might not be confusing, maybe you saw the red flags as well, but there were definitely red flags in the marriage before I even got married. And then I'm pretty sure someone's gonna be like, well, then why did you have kids? And, you know, you just had Amar, like, why would you have another kid? Well, he wasn't planned, first of all, but you can't fight your nasib. Like, I truly, like, believe that this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted for me. And, you know, I hope, inshallah, that I can see the wisdom through it. And right now, like, I just want to focus on, you know, building my life with my kids and doing the best that I can for them, and, you know, trying to raise them in the best way that I can, inshallah. I truly think that it's better for the kids this way, that we are not together, because it was getting a bit like toxic, not gonna lie, towards the end there. And I definitely have my faults as well, and I know that, and I would like to think that I know what my faults are. Like, I believe I'm a pretty self-aware person, and I know what, like, the things were, and, you know, I put myself in a relationship, like, here, I'll say this, and my point in even saying this is just so that I know there are, like, younger girls that watch me, so I hope you don't make the same mistake I did. Don't ever marry anybody because of the potential that you see in this man. That was one of the things I did, and I've actually mentioned this before to you guys as well, because as I was going through this marriage, I realized, like, you can't not change anybody. If somebody wants to change, they're going to change for themselves. When you marry somebody, marry them for what you see in front of you at that current moment. Don't marry somebody for the potential of what you think could be, and don't marry somebody because you think you can fix them, because you think you'll be their therapist, or whatever delusion you got going on in your mind, because that is definitely something that I was doing, and I realized that within myself, and that is like a thing that I need to fix within myself. That I don't need to be, you know, trying to change people or trying to make people better. Like, that's on them if they want to do better or be better. Why am I putting myself in a position, you know, to, you know, try to change somebody for the better? Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, just so that maybe somebody who's listening to this, even if it helps that one person. I am so grateful that I, you know, have, like, these amazing, like, blessings that I got through this marriage. I have Zaira, Amar, Zarar, like, alhamdulillah for them. They are, you know, like, my everything, and I just want the best for them. And I am now going to be, like, you know, in this new chapter, I guess, being a single mom. I never thought that that's how my life would turn out, but we plan, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners, and I know 100,000% that this is the right decision that I am making, because there were some very clear signs that it was just time to leave this relationship. And like you guys know, I moved from California to New Mexico because I wanted to make this work, and, like, moving and leaving your whole life behind is not an easy thing, and I know a lot of people do that when they first get married, but it was something that I didn't do when we initially got married, right? I did it after we had been married, and being there, you know, our first 2.5-ish months were going really well, alhamdulillah, and I will cherish those memories that I have. After those 2.5 months passed by, I realized things aren't going to change in the end. Like, it was almost like reverting back to old behaviors and old patterns that shouldn't have been there. And something I realized, and what, you know, led me to this decision of getting a divorce, is actions do speak louder than words. And for the longest time, I have been listening to the words and not paying attention to the actions. And then I realized, you know, like, I was low-key being manipulated, and yeah, okay, I need to just stop talking, just out of respect for everyone involved. Like I said, I don't want to get into the, like, exact details and exact things that happened. I was being kind of vague here, and if you can read between the lines and you have the, you know, critical thinking skills, which I think you guys all have, you will know that, like, what you see online isn't what's 100% going on all the time. You are seeing the good moments, and those moments are true and real, and I'm pretty sure it's like that for a lot of people, where they are real moments you're seeing. But in every relationship, and that's why people stay in a relationship so long, is there are good moments. But if the bad moments are, like, really bad, and they're outweighing the good moments, and there's just other things going on, then it's time to leave, you know? I'm excited to embrace this next chapter of my life. I think it's saying a lot that I feel a lot of peace in this current moment with my decision. It's almost like grief, I would say, like getting a divorce. You almost feel like you're going through grief, but the person's still there and they're still alive. But I guess it's just like the grief of what could have been, and, you know, all those things. And I hope you guys are all doing well, and I hope you guys can use me as a lesson, inshallah. And at the end of the day, we are all here to be, you know, tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether that is through ease, whether that's through hardship. And I've always been, like, real with you guys, and I've always shared my hardships as well with you guys. Maybe not every single hardship, and obviously I'm not going to be sharing, like, my fights with you guys and things like that, but I do try to keep it real with you guys. And at the end of the day, like, I don't want to come on here and be a little negative Nancy because you're taking out time out of your day to watch me. I don't want to feed into negativity when you're watching me. And even in my life, like, I am just the kind of person that I like to stay optimistic and I like to stay positive, and I think being like that almost put me in a bad situation. I'm realizing that now, where it's good to be positive and it's good to be optimistic and it's good to always think the best of others, but you also have to pay attention to people's actions, and you have to be able to set boundaries. My people-pleasing tendencies are, I mean, I'm not perfect at it, and I know I still am kind of like that, but it's getting better, and you know, I know how to stick up for myself now, or at least I would think I do, or at least I've made a lot of progress to where I was before, and I'm just the kind of person that doesn't even enjoy conflict and things like that, so I've always tried to keep the peace, and doing that I think was harming me more for a while, and I realized I can still do that, but also back away and set boundaries. I hope you guys can understand. I'm officially back in California now. The New Mexico chapter is closed. I took like all my belongings, well not all, but a lot of my belongings there. I was ready to start my new life. I was ready for that, you know, chapter, and like I was really excited for it, but at the end it just didn't work out, and I know that this was a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you know, inshallah, I mean, I'm still going through that test, and I know this is not going to be easy, and there's going to definitely be moments where I will, you know, miss this relationship, and I will question myself if I made the right decision, but ultimately I know deep down I did. And my camera had just shut off, so I guess that's my sign that I've been talking for a while and I need to stop talking and just end this video. You know, I still plan on vlogging and, you know, now taking you guys throughout, you know, this new chapter of my life, and I hope you guys will be here along with me throughout that journey. See you guys in the next video. Bye!